जो जो संग मिले साधु के तेते पतत पुनीता। जो जो संग मिले साधु के तेते पतत पुनीता। कहो नानक जाके वड पागा तिन जन्म बदारथ जीता। कहो नानक जाके वड पागा तिन जन्म बदारथ जीता। जो जो संग मिले साधु के तेते पतत पुनीता। जो जो संग मिले साधु के तेते पतत।
Now please, let us go ahead. What does it mean by mystified questions? I mean to say phenomenal questions. Phenomena means what? When the observation leads to contrary understanding. Say for example, a very easy law which is called as Boyle's law. We read in the states of matter chapter on chemistry, that is states of matter. In this chapter we read Boyle's law, which is just on the top of this chapter. Behavior of gases. When we start behavior of gases, there we see on the top Boyle's law. Now what is Boyle's law? Let us see that Boyle's law states what according to books. What is Boyle's law? When the pressure of a fixed mass of a gas at constant temperature is increased, the volume will decrease in the reciprocal proportion. Now when we observe this Boyle's law, we feel I have to show you phenomena. Phenomena means something, observation is leading to contrary understanding. Now let us see through this very easy law, Boyle's law. What does it state? That when pressure is applied on a gas, the volume will decrease. But this law, when we state before anyone, a common man, he will say it doesn't contain anything. It is liable that when pressure is applied on a gas, the volume will decrease. Then what sense is coming out from Boyle's law? Then question is, what good thing is coming out from Boyle's law? Because it seems to be very easy. Then actually it says what? That when pressure is applied on a gas, huge pressure suppose has been applied on a gas, the volume will go on decreasing and a state should come. That is what Boyle is thinking, that when huge pressure is applied on a gas, the volume when goes on decreasing, after sufficient application of pressure, he was thinking that the gas will be liquefied. But it did not. Then this made him curious and he laid the law P proportional to 1 by V, by which he is trying to say that when pressure, however high, is applied on a gas, the gases do not liquefy by mere pressure. Therefore, what Boyle have done, he has shown whatsoever large pressure we apply on a gas, the gases do not liquefy by mere pressure. That is the point he is raising. So with this, what does it mean? The common understanding was that when pressure is applied on a gas, it should liquefy, but it does not. So this is a crux of the case. This is crux of Boyle's law. And with this, what do we understand? He has raised two questions. Why gases are not liquefied by mere pressure and how will they be liquefied? These are the questions which made Boyle to enunciate his law. This lecture I have already delivered in my previous display, that is, I have already spoken at least 10 to 15 minutes on Boyle's law, which is already displayed. Now therefore this is what we call as phenomena. Boyle's law is a phenomena which says what? That whatsoever large pressure is applied on a gas, the gases cannot be liquefied. This is phenomena means when the observation lead to contrary understanding. This is called a phenomena. So Boyle's law itself is a phenomena. Very small thing, but I want to show that it is fantastic. It is what to understand. No law, no theory, something which has been given by a scientist. It is always meaningful, melodious, our task is to understand it. A good student will be classified when he doesn't read these questions. Now further we go. When Boyle gave this law, the audience who might have been hearing, Charles was one of them. So he worked on and he came to the understanding of how to liquefy the gas. He wanted to understand how to liquefy the gas, and he could understand something about. What was that? What did he understand? Charles' law, Vt equal to V0, 1 plus, I have already delivered on this, therefore I am not stating in writing. Vt equal to V0, 1 plus T by 273. He wants to say that through this law, he has concluded in nutshell that before minus 273 degrees centigrade, gases ought to liquefy. So therefore, Charles concluded what? You cool the gases, before minus 273 degrees centigrade, the gases ought to liquefy. But the question is, why did they not liquefy even at when we applied huge pressure? That's a question before any good student. And moreover to that, when Charles has come to the conclusion that minus 273 is the boundary value, before this temperature, the gases ought to liquefy. Then everyone, we should have clear understanding of these facts. Why it should be cool? And why should it not liquefy even by mere pressure? These are sound questions to be answered, and without a shadow of doubt, word shadow of doubt should not come, and we should have clear-cut understanding. These questions, if are left by a student, is not a good student. If they are tackled, he is not only a class scientist to come up, but also I want to signify that here is a IIT student, medical student, some good examinations he is going to pass. So now many questions do rise with these laws, that is Boyle's. I have not spoken anything about Boyle's law and Charles' law except raising your curiosity that why we have to understand many more things in these mega type of laws. These seem to be very easy, but they are not. They are raising very good questions, and the answer to these questions are necessary for a good student. Now more questions. We hear that ideal gas does obey Boyle's law and Charles' law perfectly. So when does it not obey Boyle's law and Charles' law? Why ideal gas does obey? Now moreover to that, is there any ideal gas present in the universe? If it is not, why not? More questions are there that what is the difference between gas and vapors? Gases do not liquefy by mere pressure, but vapors do. The question is, this is the dissimilarity, this is the difference. But now we want to raise a question, what is the similarity between gas and vapors in view of boiling point and critical temperature? So we have seen certain questions, now we see more questions. That is Boyle and Charles' law. Now please see that Boyle and Charles' law we say that Boyle and Charles' law are not perfectly obeyed by real gases. So why do they not obey Boyle and Charles' law? That's the question. These are very normal questions, and answering these questions will mean too much. You see, what is the critical temperature of ideal gas? When does Boyle and Charles' law not obeyed by gases, real gases? And what is the critical temperature of ideal gas? So these questions must be taken up by good student. Good student is the one, IT student is the one who needs to answer all these aspects with respect to behavior of gases. And if you don't answer all these, if you want to bug the things, the course will become lengthy and boring. If you answer these questions, they are not at all difficult. They are very easy questions, but need a little attention, discussion among students, and you can come to clear-cut understanding. If you get the clear understanding, it will mean you are a good student of IIT. If you don't, you are an ordinary student. Now, these are so easy things that they can be taught even to 8, 9, 10 students. The parents with science background, I request them to take over these things and to explain the small children of 8, 9, 10. Now please see, we consider more properties of gases, that is kinetic theory of gases. We are considering this theory in 1871 was successively given by Boyle. German scientist. Now please understand that the fine part of kinetic theory is that it is based on number of postulates. Like for example, it wants to say that number of molecules in a gas which is almost infinite are point particles not affected by gravitation, no intermolecular forces is existing. More points are that pressure exerted on each wall is same. Please see again, these are postulates. That is exceptions. They are accepted as such. What? The gas considered is ideal. There is no attraction between molecules. The particles are point masses, perfect elastic, and many more postulates. What is kinetic theory of gas? Kinetic theory of gas means the behavior of gas content. Huge number of particles are there, and the scientists wanted to know and to tell about the theory governing the different type of kinetics of the molecules. That is, we want to say that the kinetic theory, that is the kinetics of the molecules, was to be given, and that is behavior of gas content. Huge number of particles are there, and how are they behaving, at what instant, what is the velocity, and other factors about kinetics. Now the question is that this theory is based on number of postulates. How can we believe in this theory to be correct, which is based on so many approximations? There are approximations after approximation. This is the first theory. The revolutionary part of this theory is that it is first theory on earth which was given on the basis of approximations. We are assuming many things which the scientists before that never accepted, the assumptions like this. Yet it is true. We see that it is perfectly showing all the properties of gases. So on the basis of these postulates, Boltzmann gave the equation P equal to 1/3 mn c bar square upon V. The question is, what is c bar? What is c bar square? RMS velocity. When do we take RMS velocity? These are fine questions to be answered by any intelligent boy or a student, that is, who wants to appear in IIT for IIT JEE or any medical examination. They must know all these factors without any confusion. What is c bar square? RMS velocity, when do we take? So therefore, question is how to believe in kinetic theory of gases, which is based on several assumptions. P equal to 1/3 mn c bar square upon V. It wants to say RMS velocity. What is RMS velocity? We should ever know it. Now we go ahead to know something more about gases, like Avogadro hypothesis. It says what? Avogadro has said what? Equal volumes of any two gases under similar conditions of temperature and pressure contain equal number of molecules. The question is that have Avogadro counted the number of molecules? There are multiples of millions. Any small volume of gas will contain multiple of millions of molecules. How can anyone count? So Avogadro cannot count. Then how do we keep belief on this? We want a very clear-cut understanding. No confusion should remain. When you understand so clearly, you are a student of IIT, otherwise not. And when you want to know these answers clearly, here I am to explain what I want to raise the better questions, and these things can be taught even at the level of 8, 9, 10th. You see, if the parents are having science background, please let the student know at this early stage, and a very fine student will come up. It is therefore, I want to suggest that when you want to understand the things like Avogadro hypothesis, that it is 100% correct. Very clearly it should be shown without shadow of doubt. Word doubt should not appear. Only then we can say that we have understood these aspects. These are very small aspects. We feel that at present if they are being taught in the class 10th, class 11th, then we cannot say that they are very difficult. But even then, the questions raised are of importance. Now if you want to know the hint, How can we understand this Avogadro hypothesis? First of all, question is, what is hypothesis? Secondary to that, hint is that you learn Gay-Lussac's law combining gaseous volume, Dalton's law of fixed proportion, and then Berzelius hypothesis, and you will follow what is Avogadro hypothesis. Clear-cut understanding you can get by understanding these laws. Educational environment in India, due to disrespectful, especially in the schools, is not at all good enough, and therefore the students with aptitude, they disperse away in various fields of like IAS, IPS and abroad, and therefore we don't get better teachers in the schools. How do we define a good teacher? It's a property in every good student that the one who has learned with hard work, he wants to guide others. I want to say that two teachers are born. If you peep into yourself and if you feel that you are a good student and you want to be in the field of education, please come ahead and join in the franchise system of our branches. If you open our branch, that is Deepika classes will share only 30% and 70% will be given to the franchise holders. I want to request that the business in the education field is worth, according to me, 2 to 3 lakh crores of rupees every year, and if you want to be a part and parcel of any good educational concern, please join Deepika classes, and 70% will be shared by the franchise holders. If you want to be in this field, you come to us. We will first train you up and bring your level to the competency of medical, engineering, IIT, but even PSC, UPSC, IAS. We deal with all these examinations. This is a very great paying job. We want to open our franchise branches in Nagpur, Jabalpur also, Jabalpur, Bhopal, Indore, Nagpur, Kolkata, Mumbai, and ahead than Bangalore. On the screen, the phone numbers are given: 98275 88952 and 810-905-1009. We will train you first. It will take us at least 3 to 4 months to give you training. Without training, we are not going to keep any teacher like this. Please, thank you very much. Now we would like to peep into the nucleus. Like Rutherford gave the structure of nucleus. How he found nucleus? He bombarded alpha particles on the gold foil, which is only 10⁻⁵ centimeter thick. What is 10⁻⁵ centimeter thick? Very, very thin shell. Now, when he bombarded alpha particles through the shell, what should have happened? 99% passed away without being deflected, but 1 out of lakhs deflected back, 1 out of lakhs deflected away. What could we understand with this experiment? That something solid is there which has deflected back the alpha particle. Now the question is, what is solid in that? So Rutherford concluded that protons are together intact and they have deflected the particle back, alpha particle back. Now moreover to that, we want to know why it has deflected away, like instead of normal path it has bent. That again shows protons are together, they have applied force on the alpha particle, repulsive force, and that has scattered the alpha particle. With this simple experiment, for which he was awarded Nobel Prize, what he has shown? He has shown protons in the nucleus are intact. What does it mean by that? Protons are together in the nucleus. He has shown a havoc. With this simple experiment, he concluded that protons are intact in the nucleus. It's not a very simple phenomenon. It's a phenomenon when Rutherford made discovery of nucleus. The students stop here, but something more is to be spoken, not something more. A burning question is going to rise ahead. What is that? Let us see if Rn, that is radius of nucleus, is 1 centimeter. What is the radius of orbit? Radius of orbit is 1 kilometer. What do we understand with this statement? If Rn is 1 centimeter, that is, if the molecules are only in this part of the fingers, that is 1 centimeter, the orbit electrons are revolving in 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer is too much far ahead. Now what do we understand with this simple aspect? It's not a simple one. It is very curious point. 1 centimeter, then radius of orbit is 1 kilometer means what? It means that if 1 kilometer distant radius electrons are attracted by these protons inside the nucleus of 1 centimeter, then what can we say about the nucleus protons which are residing in 1 centimeter radius? How much there is a havoc type of repulsion between protons, and why are the protons not scattered out, and why should nucleus remain intact is a burning question of the time. So therefore the question is very heavy. Burning question have been raised by Rutherford through the experiment of nucleus, by which he has shown that the protons which are intact together, what energy is binding them up? How they are intact? It's a burning question which was raised by Rutherford when he invented nucleus. So a good student never needs to leave these questions. They are a burning question for every student. It's a complete big lecture which has to be given for this. Please understand, these are not very difficult questions, but they need intensive study of the books. You study and know about the facts very clearly till a shadow of doubt remains, a word shadow of doubt. Where doubt and the shadow of itself remains on your understanding, you have not understood. And if you want clear understanding, please see that you have to make a good study. So we go ahead and we see that alpha, beta, gamma rays emission from a radioactive substance is a phenomenon. That is, nucleus is disintegrating is a phenomenon. But before that, nucleus does exist. How does it exist is a phenomenon. It's a foremost question to answer. Then we will go for alpha, beta, gamma emission. In radioactivity, what do we see? That alpha, beta, gamma rays are being emitted. Now what about beta particles? Beta particle means someday lead block experiment was being carried out. In lead block experiment, what have we seen? Beta particles are emitted, alpha particles are emitted. Beta particles are carried to positive terminal, negative terminal carries alpha particles, and gamma rays are deleted. It's a simple experiment, PB, lead block experiment. What does it mean by lead block experiment itself is a question, but right at the moment I am saying lead block experiment. What does it say? Again, beta particles are reaching on the positive plate, alpha particles are reaching on the negative plate, and gamma rays are deleted. Now with this simple experiment, there arises a question, very good question. Beta particles, are they present in the nucleus? It's a nuclear disintegration. Are they being emitted from the nucleus? Are they present there? So therefore, beta particles which are ejected from the nucleus is a phenomenon. What does it mean? There are no beta particles, there are no negative particles inside a nucleus. Rutherford, when he discovered protons. Later on, Chadwick discovered neutrons in the nucleus. Now from where beta particles have ejected? So this was a version among scientists at the time when it was discovered that beta is the ejection of the nucleus which were never there. Louis D. Broglie have written a book that beta, the ejection of nucleus which were never there. So as a beginner, we can say that the protons and neutrons were there, but no electrons, no beta particles. Then from where they have come? It's a phenomenon. So first, we want to say that is beta particles a phenomenon only? So we may say, what a giant nucleus. The particles are coming out which were never there. The question is, we would like to know what are the reasons for these beta particles. So if we want to study, make a good study of beta particles and the nuclear disintegration of alpha, beta, gamma rays, first we should know, again I am repeating that we should know how nucleus is existing. Then we should know why alpha, beta, gamma rays are being disintegrated. And the question goes ahead, if we want to know the ejection of beta particles, how will it be known? The theory to be read is Yukawa field theory, and the discovery of mesons. Moreover to that, if we want to know about the existence of nucleus, we should solve one numerical of the type which I am giving here. Please see. If 1 gram of mass converts into energy by relation E equal mc square, then how much energy will be liberated in joules? If 1 gram mass is totally converted into energy, then how much energy will be liberated in terms of joules? So the answer is 9 into 10 power 13 joules. We go ahead in the question. Please see again, if 1 gram mass converts totally into energy, that is, you have to apply E equal to mc square and then calculate very easy, 1 into 3 into 10 power 10 whole square, that is 9 into 10 to the power 20 arc, divide by 10 power 7, you get 9 to 10 power 13 joules. The answer is very clear. Now we go ahead in the question, second part of it. How much amount of water will be converted from 0 degree centigrade into steam with the help of this energy? Again the question is, how much amount of water can be converted from 0 degree centigrade into steam, that is 100 degree centigrade temperature and more over 540 calories? Then how much amount of water will be converted into steam at 100 degrees centigrade with the help of this 9 to 10 power 13 joules of energy? So please see the answer which is evoked. One building of 2000 square feet and 10 feet height, that is 20,000 cubic feet. This is one story. 61, approximately 61 story building of this type, that is 61 such stories. Water contained in 61 such stories, it will convert into steam and burn out. Again I repeat, 61 story building of 20,000 cubic feet, one story. Water contained in such a big building, it will be evacuated, it will turn into liquid from 0 degree centigrade, it will convert into steam and evacuate the whole building. The question is, such a huge amount of energy which is contained in 1 gram. This tells us something about the nucleus, that is, the energy inside the nucleus is too big amount of energy. So with this understanding, I would like to say that if you want to learn properly the aspect of nucleus, please understand what is binding energy and mass defect. If you understand these two aspects, you can come to, and with these two numericals of the type, you should solve many. And you please understand, I want to convey that if you want to be a very good student, you catch the formulas and do numericals more and more. They are called problems. If you don't solve problems, you are not at all a good student of IIT, not at all a good student of medical, neither you are a good student nor you are going to succeed. Now we go ahead please. We would like to see a question. A single radioactive element, please note the question, a single radioactive element does delete what? Which particles? We know the alpha, beta, gamma rays are the emissions. Then the question is, a single radioactive element decays to give which all elements, which all particles? A, only alpha particles and gamma rays. B, only beta particles and gamma rays. C, alpha, beta both and gamma rays. And D, they are not the emissions of nucleus. Again please. We see that a single radioactive element does delete what all particles? As we understand, a particle deletes alpha, beta, gamma rays. But here we want to say a single radioactive element deletes to give what all particles? A, only alpha particles and gamma rays. B, only beta particles and gamma rays. C, alpha, beta particles both and gamma rays. And D is alpha and beta are not the emissions of nucleus. So the answer is very fine. It deletes, that is, a single radioactive element deletes either alpha particles or beta particles, but never both. So therefore, we follow the question, when we have understood that a single radioactive element deletes only either alpha particle or beta particle, never both. Then the question arises, why in lead block experiment we are receiving alpha and beta both? That's the question. Again, when we have understood just now, when we have seen, when we have observed that alpha and beta are never deleted by a single radioactive element, a single radioactive element decays to give either alpha particle or beta particle, but never both. Then question arises, in lead block experiment, why we get both the particles, alpha, beta and gamma rays, all the three we are getting, that is two are particles, third is ray. But the question is, we are getting three, and there we have said we should get either alpha particle or beta particle. What is the reason behind this? We should follow it. Now further we go ahead. We see that, for example, we had seen that nucleus does exist in spite of huge amount of force or repulsion between them. So this made Einstein to guess and to say, he suggested, whatsoever amount of energy is contained in the nucleus, one should not touch nucleus because it is containing lot more of energy, havoc amount of energy. This is what he guessed on the basis of those two numericals which I have said just back. The question is that he said, because if the energy comes out, it will be a disaster on Earth. But even then, scientists are very much curious. So Hahn and Strassmann even then wanted to peep into the nucleus, and they sent neutron inside the nucleus. What was the result? The nucleus turned into pieces. That is when Hahn and Strassmann sent a neutron inside the nucleus. What is the size of nucleus? 10 power minus 15 meter approximately. That is 10 power minus 15 meter approximately. Now into such a small nucleus, ultra small, we cannot see. The question is, it is very easy to say, but the question is how they could send it. There is a reason behind how they became successful to send it. If you want a suggestion from me, I want to suggest you that kindly go for the study of nucleus, for the study of alpha, beta, gamma rays emissions, and you please go about the atomic bond explosion, and there you will see the behavior of U-235 and U-238. There you will get this property, what will suggest. Whenever you will ask me to give lecture on this, I don't speak straightforward that here you see that 235 is doing what. But you guess, you study and know about what is the behavior of U-235. It brought success to Hahn and Strassmann, the neutron into the nucleus. Deepika classes were started on 25th December 1975 with mere rupees 50 only, and was poised to culminate into a target of opening chain of schools and colleges, and thereby to appoint a chain of scholar brains as associates. Deepika is the first coaching class in India which laid the very foundation of concept of coaching classes. I became successful in 1992 to open my first school by investing almost rupees 75 lakhs. Jabalpur became the center of study due to the massive result gained by Deepika classes almost every year from 1975 up to 1982. But due to strict admissions only on the basis of merit, wrath of annoyed police and administrative officials whose wards could not be admitted entered my house falsely posing leakage of PMT papers. As such, massive popularity turned into massive defamation, and the chain of opening schools when government, police and administrative officials arbitrarily attacked and disturbed the whole setup, shutting down the coaching classes and the merging out school too. Now we have started the classes again in the way that they should be developed for Mathematics Olympiad, Science Olympiad, NTSC, and all that, and later on for IAS, Medical, Engineering, IIT, and moreover IAS, IPS. If the parents click on the site of UPSC examinations, then they will observe that UPSC site, the course of UPSC, 90% of IAS course comprises from class 6 up to 12th only. We have the understanding that sharp children are equally naughty. and therefore they are less inclined toward bookish study. And therefore, the education is imparted in the form of play. The miracle can be done, the student can be brought up, we can blossom the flower. Therefore, the only need is to admit the children right from, I say that from 6th, but if not, then at least from 7th, and we will bring them up in the best possible, and they are admitted in our hostel, then they will get 17 to 18 hours every day. We can very easily channelize them as desired. A constant watch is kept on the child and check his interest, especially in science and mathematics, up to class 10th. Only then advise for choice of science in 11th. In case the 10th passing child is found to be fit for opting science, following options may be available: AIPMT, AIMS, AFMC, BHU, AIEEE, DCE, IIT JEE. And in case the child is inclined less towards science, it is advisable to opt arts and commerce, especially history, geography, politics, sociology, economics, which are easy gateways for the child for the civil services, even up to the level of IAS, IPS and IFS. Hundreds of coaching classes are mushrooming in the country, but Deepika is the only institution which declares the student's own effort is the sole reason of sure success, which at most needs direction. Even an average student can reach success by an effort of 60 to 75 days, expert guidance, but thousands of students influenced by false results published by various coaching classes and ultimately lead to failure of future as well as loss of finance. As per my 40 years of experience, I want to stress that 80 to 90 hours lectures on physics and chemistry and 30 to 40 for maths and biology for 12th, and similarly 40 to 50 hours for 11th and 12th on physics, chemistry and 30 to 45 hours for maths and biology are just sufficient to make the concept clear for 11th as well as 12th, as well as competitions like medical engineering, IIT, and not only that, even ahead. It is advisable that after attending 60 to 75 days coaching, need to solve on as many numerical problems as possible. Numerical problem is must. It is further guided with stress that the sole basis of selection in PIPMT, IIT, JEE, solving as many numerical problems as possible, which the students can prepare even being well at home, for which they need not to hang over in the coaching classes for the whole year. It is therefore we suggest to the outstation students of various places surrounding Jabalpur and even other cities that students are therefore welcome to attend special batches of limited lectures program only on 2 days in a week, that is Saturday and Sundays. Outstation students of surroundings, not only in the branch of Jabalpur, but wherever we have branch, the surrounding areas, they can attend only 2 days in a week. They can come for 2 days, that is on Saturday they can come for 3 hours lecture, then on Sunday again 3-hour lecture, and this way they can have the feedback for a whole week. It is this way that the outstation students can be benefited. 80 to 90 hours are to be devoted, which may be done in 60 to 75 days, and that they can do on every week, and they need not to hang over in the classes for 2 years. They have to solve as many numerical problems at home.